Hi, my name is Dennis Seary. I am Executive Director and founder of the New York City Independent Film Festival, Independent in Spirit, International at Heart, and this is the New York City Independent Film Festival Meet the Filmmakers podcast. Join us while we meet this year's filmmakers. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hi, today we're here with Tara. Hi, Tara. Thank you for joining us and welcome.
Thank
Tell
you.
us, you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you.
Yeah, hi, my name is Tara Willy. I am here in Brooklyn, New York. I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri, born and raised, went to school in North Carolina, and then moved to New York about 3 years ago. I am an actor. I have done a lot of stage work my whole life and have kind of made more of a shift to screen, but I still love working on stage, aside from acting. I love to rock climb. I'm a big outdoorsy person. I have a blog called Soul Pie. Any medium that I get to express myself is a blessing. So I love to paint, create art, write. I have music. I just love self-expression. So any medium or form in which I get to do that and hopefully affect others in a positive way is my passion.
I see you're very shy. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, not at all. I'm like the human embodiment of long-winded. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what made you want to be a filmmaker?
So I've always loved acting. And so I started on stage and I kind of caught a little bit of taste for the screen my senior year of college, which was about 4 years ago now. And I've always admired um, and found such great honor in being able to tell and share human stories. And I think that stage obviously can do that in a very nuanced and really cool way. And also, I think there's something about a screen and cameras and just the art of filmmaking that can capture humanity and a human story and a human person in such an intimate and vulnerable and relatable way. I like to think of anything in the creative arts as a service. What we are doing is we are telling human stories, important human stories. What we always say in acting class is, you know, it's never just a normal day. There's always something happening that's making it important. And I just think that there is so much beauty in, I think some of my favorite scenes to watch are, scenes where there's just a camera on an actor and the actor isn't doing anything crazy or special. They're just living in their circumstances, in their life. And I love watching that because even through film, when someone isn't doing anything crazy or there's something insane going on, you can see a story and see yourself in it and see circumstances in your life in it. And I just think that it's a beautiful way for people to form community and heal and have conversations and tell stories that matter.
Okay, great. And I see Lee joined us.
Hi.
Hi, Lee. So why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us the 1 minute version of who you are, not the film, but you.
Okay, yeah. My name is Lee. I am the writer and director. I just started making movies pretty recently. I started making movies about a year and a half ago. Before that, I was working in advertising. I was a copywriter at agencies in New York, and I worked on a lot of different stuff over my time, Oreo, Instagram, Panera. I um I liked it for a long time, and then I kind of decided to make a switch in my life and do something that I've loved since childhood. And I've always loved watching movies. And then one day I kind of just decided to make one, and it was the best thing I've ever done.
Right. So my first question was, what made you want to be a filmmaker? But I think you answered that.
Mhm.
Right. So how long have you been doing this, and how many films have you made?
Terry, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I've been acting pretty much my whole life for a very long time. I started doing theater when I was 9, but I didn't really start doing like film stuff until just a couple years ago. And I've just done a couple of short films here and there throughout the city. I think maybe this was my third, third or fourth, I want to say. I don't know, it could be more than that, but those are like the ones that I remember the most in my last like 2 years or so.
Okay.
2, 3 years, yeah.
And this was my second short. I have not, I started maybe a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Tara was actually there when I
Yeah,
started.
I
Uh, we met at a rock climbing gym,
Yeah.
just
Okay.
socially, not through film at all. And just through talking to each other, discovered that, I discovered that she was an actor. And I told her that I was interested in making a movie, and she really encouraged me to do it. And I made my first one. And like a year later, we started working on Call Fail together.
I guess this is more you, Lee. When you first said, I'm going to be a filmmaker, what did your family and friends say? They say, stick with your day job, or how did that conversation go?
Honestly, no, they were all super supportive. I'm very lucky. I think everyone kind of was just like, yeah, like I get it. I think they could see why I wanted to do it. Um, I've always loved movies. I've always loved telling stories.
Mhm.
Um, and everyone was very supportive.
Okay, and Tara? Sounds like you had support right from the beginning.
I again, very, very blessed. And my family has just always really encouraged me and supported me and has seen, my passion for this and just, yeah, have given me full support. It's such a gift.
Very lucky.
Great. All right. And so do you guys have your tribe, your go-to group folks where you live in New York? Have you built that yet?
Yeah, it's really cool. I think what's been really fun about living in the city is, anywhere I go, any place I work, you talk for 5 minutes with someone and you discover that they're also an actor or they work in production or, they also film like are filmmakers or, and so I feel like my community in that sense is kind of ever expanding and just, open to creating with all people and, yeah, it was my first time working with Lee, and we were friends beforehand. So, that's been really fun meeting all these people, like just through each other and connecting each other. And yeah, that's just definitely been something that's starting to build and just continue to.
And Lee, how about
Yeah, I agree with Tara. It's a great city for this because not only is there a lot of people working in this industry or want to be working in this industry, but I find that the filmmaking community in the city is really strong. Um, so many times like you'll be talking to someone and there'll be like a mutual connection. And if ever you're like trying to put together a crew, you'll reach out to the people you know, and then if they can't do it, they'll refer you to somebody. And I honestly, that's how I managed to put together both my crews. It's
it?
just the word of mouth. Like you talk to somebody who's made a movie and they're like, oh, I know this great DP. And the DP's like, I know this great sound guy. And it just comes together and everyone's very supportive and everyone wants to be doing the same thing. And that makes sets feel really special.
Great. Okay. So I guess Lee, this is more to you. What made you decide to make this movie?
Oh, it's actually like I was my fiance and I we were just dating back then, but we were living separately and we were doing long distance and I was driving to her one night and I had my dog in the passenger seat with me and my dog was being bad and she like stuck her head out the window. So I went to grab her and I pulled her back into the front seat and somebody had swerved into my lane and I was like taken aback and I had to like swerve into the next lane and all the while I was on the phone with my fiance and she was like, "Oh, are you okay? Like that sounded bad." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But I explained to her what happened and I remember like just at that very moment, the whole movie kind of came to me. And I was like, this is a terrifying situation. Like only hearing something without seeing it, especially with this kind of dynamic, is like really a scary moment. And it kind of like I knew it was going to be short. I knew it was I knew what I wanted at that very moment.
Mhm. I have kids, so I understand that when they sit there and you're talking to them, oh damn. It's like, what? Nothing, Dad. Like, what do you mean nothing? Why did you say, oh damn? What's
Yeah,
going
exactly.
on?
Exactly.
I'm sorry. So Tara, I guess he came to you with the screenplay and What was your
Yeah.
thoughts? What was your take on it all?
I was so honored. I thought the story was like very much just like what Lee described. Like, oh my gosh, like this is a lot. And I thought the way that he wrote it was so wonderful, in the way that it would build, and then how in conversations with other characters, how that affected the build of kind of the anxiety and the not knowing. And I remember, not too long after he gave me the script, we sat down and just kind of discussed, what's this about? Like at the end of the day, like what is this a story about? And we were just talking, and he said it's a story about believing yourself. It's a story about trusting your gut. Because I knew, and I always knew, that there was something up, yet I was kind of being gaslit by all of these people. And then kind of in the script, it starts to morph, like my own mother, starts to say things to me that I'm like, wait, what? Like, this is not something she'd say to me. It's like how, continual like invalidation of your feelings or experiences can start to form and be the own stories that you tell yourself, and just what a common experience that is, in the world. And so I thought it was awesome. And also for me as an actor, like 13 minutes of just all only you with phone calls. I'm like, oh, this is going to be an awesome challenge. And to let it, build in a natural and authentic way while shooting out of order. Like I was just really excited to just take that journey on as a human being and as an artist as well. It was really a blast.
I can see that you're very mellow, Tara.
Yes, very down to earth.
It must have been a lot of fun to work with. Anyway, all right. So, I'm going to put these two questions together. What was
Yeah.
the hardest part about making this movie, and what was the most fun about making this movie?
Okay. First, we got to shooting the morning of. We were shooting in my apartment, and we had loaded in the night before because we wanted to save time and be very efficient. And we got to set, and there were no C stands at all. And like everyone was freaking out because we thought like we were gonna have to jerry rig everything. Um, but luckily we had like some great PAs, and like they went and they got C stands from a different rental house, and then they really saved us by opening on a weekend for us, and we got it, and we like managed to shoot a whole scene by the time that this had happened.
Right.
By the time they came back, we were ready to move and like set up a new location. So that was like a really big on set challenge.
Mhm.
I think a more like meta challenge was trying to like keep this grounded and like real. I think it could have been a very stylized movie, but like I think we wanted it to feel really human, and Tara really helped bring everything back to earth and make sure that all the emotions and the journey of the film felt like human.
Thank you.
And the best part was just like working with the crew. And Tara. We had great energy on set. We shot for 2 days. And it was just like a fun time. The people on the phone all came in and read live. So we always had like every few hours we had somebody new coming in.
Mhm.
And it's actually like pretty crazy how much energy changes
Mhm.
when a new like collaborator comes in. Um and like they shift the energy of the set, and like we went through a lot of different experiences with that.
Mhm. I think for me the most difficult part, but also it was fun, just because I get to learn every single time I have an experience getting to act. I always learn something about the process and about myself. And something that was challenging in this aspect is, not only were we shooting out of order, so I had to be in the right place emotionally. At the right time, even though it wouldn't be like the conventional or like natural build of like a panic attack. But I just felt super, super grateful and super blessed that, you know, I had an amazing team that would, you know, allow me to take a few minutes in another room, get myself where I need to be, and then, you know, we'll make it happen, you know, a couple takes and then we're set. And yeah, and I also think another fun but difficult, challenging part was, you know, we were shooting in an apartment and there's, you know, 6 or 7 people just on the crew. And, you know, I'm having to be alone in this apartment when I'm, you know, the camera's like right here doing a close-up shot. There's 6 or 7 people, not less than 3 feet from me, and, you know, creating that world where I am alone in this apartment. There's not all this happening in front of me. Like, that was just a super cool experience that really was, it was challenging and so fun, and just a really cool takeaway. I was like, wow, that was just a really neat experience as an actor. And the best part was just like Lee said, the people, getting to tell this story just with an awesome group of humans that cared so much, and positive energy, good work ethic, caring about each other and the project. Yeah, it was just great. Everyone had the same goal in mind, efficiency, getting the job done, but also being kind, respectful, and having a good time while doing it. Yeah.
Cool. Sounded like it was fun. All right, so now this is more towards you, Lee. When you do a movie, all right, even though you're new, you have 2 underneath your belt. What type of a person are you? Filmmaker are you? Are you the kind that you sit there and go, okay, I'm done with that movie. It's out there in the world. That baby's out of the house. It's being seen. Or are you the kind that sits there and looks at it at every time you see it and go, someday I'm going to get enough money and I'm going to reshoot that the right way, or the way I know, fix every error I see. Which type are you?
Oh man, I definitely watch my movies with a new lens every time, but I really try and let them go.
Mhm.
I think that, you know, once they're finished, it's kind of like a blessing, because you're like, okay, that's it. Like I've done what I can. I gotta let it live the life it's gonna live now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, you know, I used to work in advertising, and in advertising, like the way you when you're creative, the way you get jobs is through a portfolio. So you just have like a website that says who you are and what you've done, and you show some samples of your work, much like being in the film industry. But I had a professor when I was building my portfolio that said, if every time somebody gives you feedback on your portfolio, you fix it, you're never going to sleep again. Um, and it kind of just like sat with me. I was like, at some point, like certain things just have to be what they are.
Mhm.
Um, you know, you're always going to see something new. Somebody's always going to be unhappy with something. Um, so, you know, I try and learn from each project and bring my lessons into the new project.
Mhm.
But past projects are past projects, and I just have to let them go.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. All right. So in the indie film world, we all know we're not going to be buying private jets. We're not going to be buying yachts or mansions with the money we're going to make in the indie film world. So what does success look and smell and sound like to you?
Just getting to do the job. You know, like just being able to create and have people watch and hopefully enjoy what we make. That's what it's all about for me. I told you, I started this like a year and a half ago. And I remember the very first time I screened my first movie, um, to like a general audience, that I was like, oh my God, this is the best. Um, like just getting people's reactions, seeing what sank, what didn't, and how they resonated. That was worth everything.
Yeah, honestly, pretty much just what Lee said. My answer is going to be just fulfillment, getting to tell the stories that you want to tell, in a way that fills your cup. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing for me too.
Okay. Last question is, so somebody comes along and goes, hi, Uncle Lee. Hi, Aunt Tara. I want to be a filmmaker just like you, what would be your advice? What would you say to that?
I think most importantly, you have to trust yourself and persevere, and know that there are going to be inherent challenges, and also do not let any, don't believe that you don't have what it takes just because at one point in your life you were made to feel or felt as though you didn't have what it took. I just think it's really important to continue to pursue what you're passionate about and to pursue it fully. If you're, if you're able and if you can, you deserve to bet on yourself and go for that thing. And yeah, I just think it's, it can be a tough industry. It can be, like inconsistent. The film industry, especially as an actor, you don't have a ton of control all the time. But I would say that even in the moments where you're not doing the work, you can take every single day as an opportunity to, add to the work that you do, or, observing yourself and the world around you. That is part of what makes a filmmaker and filmmaking as well. Your everyday life is your toolkit, and paying attention to that and seeing it through that lens makes life and art so special. And doing it in community too is like 10 times better than doing it alone. So do not be afraid to reach out and ask for help, for support, because life's too hard in this industry. It's just too difficult to do alone. We all gotta lift each other up and help each other up.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. My my advice would be just go for it. There's like so little certainty in anything that if this is what you want to be doing and this is what you want to be doing, just got to try. I think with so many things, there's like such a clear-cut path on how to do it. Like you want to be an engineer, you get an engineering degree, and it's like this filmmaking is so like everybody has to make their own path. So I think if anybody came to me and asked what they should do, I'd just kind of say like you just have to try, just make something you want to watch.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time and the effort here.